Welcome back to another episode. Today's guest is Giles Denning, the man behind PerformX Live, one of the fastest growing fitness events in the UK. He's a marketer who actually builds, not talks, and a real advocate for men's mental fitness. I hope you enjoy the episode.
My name's Giles Denning. I am an event leader in the fitness space. I'm also hugely passionate about men's mental fitness, mental health. So a big advocate in that space. My career has been built around building brands, building communities, that sort of thing. So I take a lot of the lessons from that and building a really strong network. So when I'm designing a product, I'm designing with the best in that world kind of thing. So that's kind of my ethos in a nutshell.
Sure. So you're in fitness and men's mental health now, but where did your journey begin? What did you start off doing, say, after leaving school?
Yeah, so after school, I actually became a plumber for a year with my dad. Didn't make it through the year. Quickly realised standing on a cold roof was not for me. But the intention was to join the family firm. But yeah, then I got my results back and I was like, actually, I did much better than I thought I was going to do. So I decided to try and go back for A levels. Had to go the year after because the year had already started, and then got really, really, really locked into business. I think before that, I didn't really have a clue what I wanted to do at school. I had no idea. And then as soon as I discovered business at GCSE, I was like, this is it. So I did business, A level, uni, and then from uni, I was able to get a placement year, which was brilliant. It was like very badly paid, but real life experience in a company. So you got a year out, third year, and it's a really cool job. I've never had a boring job, so I've always been lucky enough to be doing something either in an industry that really excites me, or just a job that's really cool. So my first one was testing unreleased cars on a test track in
No, that is cool.
That
in
sounds
Bedford.
cool.
Yeah, really cool. So you had to have a secret pass to get in. They filmed stunts there, so they filmed the James Bond flip when he flipped the Aston Martin, and they had to write off about 6 or 7 Aston Martins to get the flip right. Stuff like that. But it's just it was a really cool place, and I was marketing it to car companies to come and test their cars, and also people to run events there and have experience days and stuff like that. So that was really cool job. I was lucky because it was like a really small team, so I was able to have quite a lot of ownership within that team at a young age, kind of thing. Rather than being, I guess, a small cog in a big organization, I was one of the only people in the team, which was super cool for experience. And then from there, went back to uni, finished. Then started my career after uni I worked in fitness in a big gym chain. And then I wanted a bit more excitement because fitness in those days, this was about 2012, was very boring, repetitive, samey. It was just like offer led, like join before the end of the month and you'll get this. And it just rolled on each year, each month to another offer. And I was the only person in the team. So again, it was like, I think I've always had this craving to be around a learning environment and be around a good boss who can teach me a lot. So the combination of like boredom and wanting growth took me into the nightclub industry, which I stayed there for about 10 years, maybe. Nightclubs, hospitality, which is incredible. In my 20s, it was, again, a dream job. We were opening bars up and down the country. And this was back in the day when nightclubs were thriving and people still drank alcohol and stuff. So we were kind of the original VIP clubs when kind of bottle service was new to the world, and people, it was only a thing that had already been seen in Vegas and stuff. So we were doing bottle clubs in different parts of the country and getting people to spend thousands of pounds on a Thursday night and stuff like that. So it was really fun, really good job. Taught me a lot about high standards because it was premium brands. The nightclub industry seems to create a lot of, I was speaking to Chris Williamson's manager on this, and like the nightclub industry does seem to create a lot of leaders and a lot of talent because it's just,
well, Chris was a nightclub promoter, wasn't he?
Chris was. A lot of the kind of it's surprising, and the kind of what's his name, the MD of I Fraser's Group as well was nightclub
Why do you
background.
think it creates a lot of leaders?
I think it's just it's a lot of graft. It's a lot of hard graft. It's really good people skills. And the thing I always think about the nightclub industry is you have to stay relevant. So say, for example, a lot of products, say you're selling a car, you sell it once. You sell, a gym membership, you sell a year's worth. And then, with a nightclub, every week you have to stay relevant.
True.
So, there's always a new place. A nightclub typically has like a 2 or 3 year lifespan, really, where then it dies. So for a nightclub to survive decades, it needs to be. And I think if you look at brands, I worked for Be at One, which was one of the best jobs I've ever worked for. The culture was just phenomenal. One of those kind of companies where the leader knows every bartender by name and their mum, how their mum's doing and everything. It just works, and like it's a culture built on like the people and the progress. But if you look at them and you look at Gymbox, and I know the guys they've just sold, but I know the guys who are running their marketing, and the skill is like making it seem like a brand new brand all the time and staying relevant, having reasons for people to come back. And they do it really well with their classes. So they've always got a class that's like, they had one that was like, when everyone was getting pissed off with Boris Johnson, it was like, come and punch a punch bag with Boris's face on it. And there's always a reason to be talked about, but there's always a reason to come back, to stay relevant. For us, it was like campaigns and working with convincing big drinks brands who have huge budgets to give us those budgets so we can do something more exciting with their money, that's really relevant and stuff like that, and working with some brilliant agencies and stuff like that. So that taught me a lot. Then lockdown happened and I decided to quit drinking, and haven't drunk since, really. I've had a couple of drinks since then, but haven't had drinking in about 3 or 4 years now. But that was the moment I was like, I need to get back into my passion, which was the fitness industry, really. Like that whole time I've been training, I'd done a few physique competitions and stuff like that, getting the spray tanned and eating fish and rice cakes and whatever. And I was just like I'm kind of lying to myself being in the nightclub industry when I don't. I've outgrown it a little bit.
Quite a shared experience, isn't it? Like Chris Williamson, he felt like all these late nights and drinking, and it was just doing him in. It was too much. Too much to go through.
You've got to enjoy things, and I think something that's like all encompassing, like my work now, like running big events, it takes over most of your thought process, and it takes over. So if you're like, and I'm really enjoying it. So when you're enjoying it, like it's fine to be immersed in it. Like, whereas in that world, you expected to be out on a Tuesday night with our supplier, like drinking, like testing a new nightclub. And to most people, that would be the dream, right? Are we going to go and test this new club? And whereas at that point, I'd been in it a while, and I was like, my heart was going, I just want to go home and train and eat and go to bed early. I don't want to drink. So I was like backdooring it and putting drinks down, and you know what I mean? And then there's the new drink out, and I don't care about a new drink. I don't even want to drink it. So it's things like that. It's just listening to your heart and knowing, which is one of the most important lessons in life, is like, it's not backing out of things, but it's like listening to your heart and going, do I want to be doing this? And as soon as I switched to the fitness industry, back again where I'd started my career, I was like, you could tell the difference in energy and passion for it. And that's how I've been able to spend the last, maybe, what is it now, 6 or 7 years? Just really, really growing and enjoying the fitness industry and building a massive network of people and stuff like that. So, yeah.
It's like knowing when to stop and move on.
Yes, yeah.
So
and not being afraid to either. Not being afraid to. Not thinking like, I've done so long in this, because I was just getting to the point where I was getting offered the big jobs.
Yeah.
You could get this much money and you can run the whole team or whatever. And I was like, and I nearly said yes to a few and stuff like that. And then went with my gut, and then literally lockdown happened, and it was like it's supposed to be kind of thing. Because that gave me the opportunity to spend hours a day connecting with people, leaders in the fitness sector who I'd listened to on podcasts, and people spared the time because they had nothing, didn't have a business to run. Yeah, they're on furlough or whatever, and they're like, let's jump on and have a chat. And that was kind of the starting point. Like some of those now I'm booking on my stages and stuff like that, which is a really nice full circle moment. But yeah, you're right. It is having
it's quite hard to know
self-awareness. Self-awareness is,
Because people just say you're quitting, but sometimes like strategically quitting is actually the right thing to do. You got to know when to stop.
And also thinking like, just because you've got that knowledge, it's probably transferable as well. So all the lessons I took from that time, like running premium brands, staying relevant, staying on the pulse, listening to your customer a lot, I'm taking with me now to where I am. So we never run the same event. You know, I'm always going, right, how do we make our event 10 times better? What could we do to make this event really strong, kind of thing, instead of like what a lot of events do, which is just put it in a box till next year, get it out again, kind of thing. So I think that it's understanding that there's transferable lessons from everything you've done, kind of thing.
Yeah. So was PerformX the first event that you ran? Was it initially branded as that?
Yeah, so PerformX, so I'll introduce it. So PerformX is the business of fitness show. So our mission is to bring together all the most ambitious people that work in the fitness industry, and teach them what's coming down the line, how to level up their business, a big demonstration of all the latest kit and tech and AI and whatever else, and then a massive opportunity to network. That's the main thing, is the networking opportunity. Business gets done, meeting the right people. So we have probably I think this year we'll have probably 6,000 people in a room, which is incredible. Yeah, really good vibe in the room. This will be our 5th year. So yeah, PerformX is, and what we've tried to do is, I think, change up the trade show model a bit. So trade shows, if you've ever been to them, are typically quite dull and can be quite boring. Whereas what we've tried to do is, like, you know, there's our stages are like big TEDx talk style stages with mood lighting, and it's really high energy. There's a DJ playing all day. There's, you know, this is the fitness industry, so it should be fun. It should be high energy. So we try and represent where the industry is actually going, kind of thing. So yeah, that's PerformX.
How do you build an audience of X amount of people and then get them to come down to an event in the first place?
That's a good question. I would say, if you're doing it from scratch today, it's like, start with who you know. So who do you know? And then who do they know? And then what partnerships can you set up? So who knows who you need to know? Like, for example, is there an education body that knows of those people already, or someone that could benefit from being in that room, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, this person could bring 100 people, or that person knows those 10 people that are the key people, or that kind of thing. And then it's just growing it from there. Or if you can get a good speaker to come, can they promote it as well? Stuff like that. So it's starting with who you know, and then having some good people that either set it up with you. I've got a good advisory board, so I have like key group of people that are a mix between the thought leaders, so the people that are on the pulse of the trends, and then the buyers, so the people that are actually doing it, like the gym chains. And then we can say, what do you think we should hear about? And then you can bounce it off these guys and goes, do you actually care about that? Is that interesting to you? And then you've got this kind of meeting in the middle, and then those guys, if they buy into it and they sort of feel like it's their product because they designed it, then they're going to go, right, my team should all be here because there's talks about this, and this, which I thought were interesting. Do you see what I mean? So the more you can get other people to, which is the whole point, like collaboration. There's a good phrase, which is, collaboration is the highest form of intelligence. So rather than seeing someone else's event as a competitor, we've got 3 or 4 other people's events that exhibit at our event, and we exhibit at their event. And then we say, can you email your database for our event? We'll do the same back. So, you know, if there's an event in October and ours is in February, like, we're not necessarily competitors, if you know what I mean. Like, why can't we just collaborate and we're on the same goal? And people that are too kind of protective of their stuff end up not growing because you're too like, oh yeah, I don't. So things like that. There's a lot of different ways we do and things we've tried over the years and stuff like that. But yeah, and then it sort of snowballs after that. Constant, like, whatever you deliver, make sure you focus heavily on feedback and like what was good, what was bad, not just presuming people will come back, but like what could we do better, and take some of it with a pinch of salt, because some people might not be your buyer, if you know what I mean. Like, oh, I needed more of this and needed more of that, but well, it's not designed for you.
Demographic, or
it's not for you. It doesn't suit you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then define who the perfect customer is, try and get 10 of them in a room and go, what actually would get you out of your house to come to this kind of thing. Yeah.
Now, let's say you're a young person. You started off, who do you know? Let's say you don't know anybody. How do you find them people?
So this was my personal project during the lockdown was like just reaching out to the people I really admire and trying to get some of their time. And I would say that's a great place to start. I think if you're more, I mean, you can take, my mentor calls it like taking moonshots. So like you can reach out to the greatest person in your sector. Like, for example, I was like, I really admire, Robbie Williams has done a really good film last year, which is all about the hero's journey. And it kind of relates to how men suffer from imposter syndrome and live their whole life trying to impress other people.
Is that the one where he,
the monkey.
The monkey, yeah.
And I was like, I really want to speak to him about it. And then I went to bed and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, my mate plays golf with him. Shit. Like, so sometimes there's a way, you know what I mean? There's a way to reach people. But what on the flip side of that is like just reaching out to people who aren't famous, but are doing something big, you know, so say someone high up at Nike, wherever, he's not necessarily famous, but if you sent him a really complimentary message saying, look, I've actually been watching your campaigns for the last 3 years. I really admire the way you've done X, Y, and Z. Could we have a chat? Then he probably usually just gets a load of sales crap in his inbox. He's not going to get a genuine young guy reaching out, asking for advice. And I think it's the other thing I'd say is like, don't have it too weighted, as in don't ask them for anything, just pay compliments and do your research before. So if I get an email, like when you guys reached out to me, right? I'm very complimented because you're like, I love what you're doing. Can we have a chat? And I'm like, of course, because it's a big compliment to me. I like giving what I've learned down to, you know what I mean? Spreading a message to help other people, because it doesn't feel like long ago I was that age and in those shoes, you know, it genuinely doesn't, you know what I mean? So it's anything I can do that's helpful, I'm happy to help. And it's a big compliment. So I think it's just like you're doing, reaching out to people who are doing things you admire, rather than thinking, like, authenticity, I think, is the key. Rather than thinking, oh, that person's famous, we'd get them on because it'll give us good clout, is kind of going, I really like something that guy said, and that resonates with what we're building. Let's message him and see if he's up for working with us. That kind of thing, I think, is key. Because people can tell the inauthenticity of just like, oh, can I cling on your coattails of fame? And do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah.
We were having this conversation the other day, weren't we, Harrison? Like, how can we get in front of people who are big, but we admire what they're doing? I feel
we have started just reaching out, and we thought, you know what? If you don't ask, you don't get. And the worst we're going to get is a no, which is ignored or a no.
And also reaching out a few times, just trying, because often that initial message just goes straight to...
And it shows you're obsessed then. It shows it's not a fleeting comment, because some of my speakers, they've took a long time to crack them, to break them down. You know, oh, I don't speak at events, or I'm not interested in that, or and then I'm like, every year I'm like, hi mate, like, I really like what you're doing. Again. Is there a chance that this year?
Is there a chance this year?
Like genuinely, and then they're like, oh, fine. You know what I mean? They eventually
they always give in.
Well, they give in, but they get how much you care about their voice. You know, I'm like, you're genuinely the person for this. Like, I really think you would bring a lot of value, and I think no one else is better than you at this thing. And then they're like, let's give it a go, see what happens. You know what I mean?
Well, we've been engaging with just people's posts. It's not necessarily asking them, just sort of leaving a comment or our thoughts and trying to get our name out there that way.
Yes.
And it's also just like generally agreeing with whatever they're posting, or saying, oh, what about this? And it's that sort of engagement, I feel like.
Another thing is doing content about something they've done, right? So say like you took the time to actually make a video. Like this is a good example I did with the Robbie thing. It's like I did a podcast analyzing the movie, because I was like, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And then if he sees it or if he doesn't, fine. But like if he's gonna watch a 50-minute long video of me analyzing his movie and why his story relates to most men and what they can learn from it, like if he does get the chance to watch that, like my mate sent it to him, I don't know if he's watched it or not, you know what I mean, but like regardless, if he does, the level of interaction is going to be so high, and he's going to want to speak if he does. You know what I mean? If he likes it. So instead, like, that's taking it a level above leaving a comment on his thing. Is actually like, if you guys are really big fans of, say, these 5 people, is like, put content out about them. And then someone said to me, is like, if you tag that person and then it's getting loads of comments, they'll have to have a look because they're going, oh God, like something's going viral about me. And obviously it's only put good things. I don't believe in putting bad things.
Of course.
Like, I just don't think that's the way.
There's no need.
It's just, it's just not necessary. Like,
There's no need.
It's not the way to do it. I mean, it works, but it's not what I would personally advise. But like, if someone you admire, make a video what you admire about them. And my mate's doing it at the moment with his podcast called Make Like the Greats, which is like,
I remember you telling us about this one, actually.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But like, his own unique angle is like analyzing how creatives do their thing, because like, some of the very good creatives have just got unique, distinct ways that they've almost invented of doing things. And then he finds every article ever about them, creates this podcast that's like, here's what you can learn from this person's method. And then he'll tag them. He'll tag them in it, and they'll be like, wow. Like, he's just done it through, I can't remember his latest one. It's a program that I haven't watched, so I'm not going to be able to tell you who it's about. But he sent it to them, and they were like, mate, we cannot believe you spent this amount of time like analyzing. You know what I mean? But it's that level of obsession that people resonate with. They don't just want, hi mate, can you be on my podcast? They're like, if you've spent that time to be like, I'm obsessed with your work, and I've been obsessed with loads of other people's work, or, you know, whatever. It's finding your thing that you can obsess over quite easily, and then making, you know, doing it about someone you admire, and then trying to get it in front of them. And if they bite on it, then you've won. But also, it's a great bit of content if they don't. If they don't
exactly. Yeah. Did you get Robbie on?
Not yet. He's the moonshot. He's on the moonshot list. He's on the moonshot list. Yeah.
One thing I really like that you said is about the Nike, that you don't necessarily have to hit the top person, like the CEO or the owner. No. You can hit someone around that. And I think what we found, me and Tom, on LinkedIn, is that a lot of these people around them aren't massive. Like, they don't actually have many followers, and they're still really interesting. Them.
Yeah.
And they're still very, very interesting people because they're in that environment every day. They're in that company.
That's it. And the other thing on that is like, who's around them. So if you know they always hang around with someone else, like I did that a few times with celebrities. It was quite cheeky, but I had like a fashion brand, and I'd be like, hi mate, I know you hang around with Thingy all the time. Could you get him to wear this t-shirt or whatever? And sometimes they're like, piss off. Or sometimes they're like, well, let me ask, I'll see what I can do. Or, you know, whatever. Like, sometimes you can get through to someone through their network. And like, I think it's on Instagram, you can see like when people are tagged with people and stuff like that kind of thing, that there are little ways that you can sometimes try and do it, because you just got to think about how much of a barrage that person's personal inbox or notifications must be, like a Stephen Bartlett or whoever. But if you can get through to a friend
every day
that's only got 1,000 followers, then that friend will more likely. But you don't want to be, I don't know, you don't want to be too cheeky and just bother people. But it's that fine line, isn't it?
It's an art, really, isn't it?
And especially if you spent a lot of time on something, and you're like, it's almost like you're sending them a piece of art, isn't it? If you spent a month researching a podcast, and you sent, do you mind sending this to your mate? Like, it's like you've sent them a piece of art, as opposed to like, oh, do you mind asking him if he'll speak on my thing? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
And we almost see it as signal. So places like Instagram have very weak signal, as in there's loads of messages, loads of things happen, you can't really get through to them, where on LinkedIn, the signal's a lot stronger. People generally see what you put. They might not respond, but that's fine. But then if you talk to someone around them, that's the highest signal you can get, because you're 99% you're going to get through to them. They're going to see it.
When I had a free trial of LinkedIn Premium, I could see, like, I'd message these big names, and I'd see they'd read it and then not respond, which was promising. But at least they're reading it.
They're reading it.
They
know who you are now. They know who you are now. Yeah, that's true. It's true. Someone told me something wrong. I can't remember who it was, but it was some kind of I think it was a wearable. I think it was like some kind of wearable. Yeah. And they were like, I want this person to wear it. I really want X celebrity to be aware of this thing. So he sent it to every person in that person's office for free, and offered to coach them on the data that came up from it. So then this person is like walking around his office, and the whole office are going, "Oh yeah, I've just got
what's happening here?"
Yeah. And he's going, "What is this thing then?" Do you know what I mean? So everyone's
Yeah.
obsessing over it. And if it's a great product, like, so that's another way. Do you know what I mean? If you can get like you said, the high signal,
Think
someone
outside the
in
box.
someone's circle talking about something, person of influence, you know, like you're kind of getting in through osmosis because people are going, "Oh, that looks really cool. Like, what is that?" Yeah.
Sure. I want to know a bit more about the first PerformX event. So obviously we're seeing it now with 6,000 people. What's the very first one like? What are the challenges that you face running that first event?
I'll talk you through the evolution of the show, and because that's quite interesting. Because I think the main thing, I guess, one of the main strengths I think anyone can learn, especially in marketing, but in product brand leadership, is understanding the customer. So I think where we first began, it was we wanted to be different, we wanted to stand out. So it was like very much about celebrity headliners. We probably had 4 or 5 massive names that were like household names, but not necessarily like fitness names kind of thing. Like we had Stephen Bartlett, we had Ben Francis, Amir Khan, like so they're in the sports world or somewhere around it, but they're not like directly impacting the fitness industry. But we were like, they'll sell tickets and they will, you know, that kind of thing. They'll be a face of the show. And then as the show evolved, it's understanding who it's for. So what we've learned in the last 2 years or 3 years, since our investors are a very clever man in the fitness industry, in the events, in the conferences industry, in his 60s, he's just a real like guru, very successful, very wealthy in that world, but like knows his stuff, and he just knows how to make the model work. So when he started getting involved, he and I worked very closely together, and it was really useful for me because he was like, who are we trying to get in this room? And that is the leaders of the gyms. So like, imagine like a CEO of David Lloyd, and he's got 300 gyms around the country or around Europe, and he needs to understand how to help his job is what do I need to spend my budget on this year to make my gym better, or how can I teach my personal trainers or gym staff or whatever to be better so we earn more money, or, you know, that kind of thing. It's like what's on his mind as a leader is these things. And then if we're saying to him, oh, we've got you a celebrity, is that, you know, that's a nice to have, but it's not an essential for him. So he could, you know, oh, am I going to come and spend a Wednesday out of work to watch a celebrity? Not necessarily. So then you end up with like, maybe he'll send his team. Oh, my team will enjoy that. That's a nice perk for like my junior team, that kind of thing. So then the lesson for us was like reinvesting the budget in who he wants to see, but actually spending way more time with the CEOs and the buyers to fully embed ourselves into their world and going, what do you care about? What is the most important thing to you right now? So for example, our last 2 headliners have been people you'd have never heard of, and you guys wouldn't have wanted to come and see them because they're so irrelevant to you as people. Was the first 2, you'd have gone, yeah, Ben Francis, Gymshark founder, sounds amazing. Stephen Bartlett, yeah, I'm in, like, sign me up. Where do I, you know what I mean? So, so actually niching right down. If I said to you guys, like, there's a you know, the most successful podcaster for young people to get into business, right? You know, you go, yeah. Like, where do I go? You know, but your mates might go, nah, like, that's not interesting to me. Do you see what I mean? So the more dialed down you can make it, it's like, if you're trying to do, it's like, if you that was our biggest lesson really, is like, how do we hone the show for the exact person you want there? And thinking from a business angle is like, to make the most money, we need a show full of those CEOs because our exhibitor base make our money. So the trade show stands. So if we can fill it up with those people, they're all having a great show, then the exhibitors have a great show. And then you can grow the show, invest more in speakers, invest more in the experience. And we built a VIP lounge because, another good example, you're speaking to the buyers and saying, you know, what would make the show better? And they're like, well, to be honest, like, we come to shows and we have to go around it, and then we've got meetings and calls, so we've got to go home. And or find a coffee shop outside and it's a bit of a faff, and we go, all right, we'll build you a big lounge that's the centerpiece of the show where only you can go in with your pass. The suppliers can't come in and bother you, and you can have your hot desk in, you can do your meetings, you don't have to leave, and then that means you can do that, come out, watch another talk, have your 3 o'clock meeting, come back out. You know what I mean? So your day becomes your own. So you're constantly understanding the product, where the trends are going, but also what that specific person demographic is interested in. So that's been our biggest evolution, is like testing things is good, don't just build what already exists. So we completely mixed up the trade show experience by having, the first ever show, we had workouts, there's DJs going on. It was a shopping mall experience. We could buy fitness clothes. There was celebrities. There was a meet and greet with celebrities where you could kind of, pay a bit more and have time with Stephen, a bit more personal time. There was, we just thought about what's all the fun, cool stuff going on in the sector and how much of that can we cram into a show. So people loved it, and it was like, wow, this is really different and cool. But did it do what it does now? No. So we kind of went 100% over this way, and then we've come back this way.
Yeah.
But we're nowhere near the boring trade show. So we've still kept the personality, the character, the experience, but we have met the perfect balance of like experience combined with how do we make it? What's our bread and butter? How do we make our money? How do we achieve our mission of driving the fitness industry forward, type thing?
Yeah. But even on the very first event, you went like big. You got in big names. See, we were thinking of doing events. We were going, our thought process was, let's do a room of 30 people and just get used to it. It's actually the wrong thing to do. Would you say to us, go big?
No, it's a good point. So a friend of mine, Tim Gray, he's got an inspiring story with this that you'll like, and this will reframe it. This will be a penny drop moment for you to how you can start. So he now runs the biggest biohacking show in the UK. He's just done this his first one in the US, and it was bigger than his UK one straight away. So he's now getting together 4,000, 5,000 people in the room, paying probably 150 to £1,000 a ticket, like depending on what experience they buy, and full of brands, absolutely packed, sold out of brands, right? So he's probably making, multi-million, empire of brands, and it's very well respected. And I said to him, how did you start? And he said, well, I asked my mate if I could borrow his office for an evening, and I just invited 20 people I knew who were interested in biohacking, and I knew it was going to get big because people were starting to talk about it.
Yeah, now it's huge.
In 2017, and he said, who do I know that's as interested in this as me? Can I borrow your space? Invite everyone over, get the best person from that network to do a talk, not pay anyone. So the event had zero cost, and it's just a networking evening really, because you're kind of going, come and do this with me and hang out, and we'll have a chat. Maybe there's a live talk, maybe it's just a coffee and meet everyone. And that's how he started. And I think I'm not sure this is completely right, but he did like that 4 times a year or something like that. And it got to the point where he's filled his mate's office up, 250 people. And because there was now decent amount of people, I think he started getting a few sponsors. So you could say, give me £1,000 and you can have a stand in the corner talking about your wearable or your whatever, blue light glasses, or, whatever the product is at the time.
Yeah.
So he had 4 brands there, and then you're making profit then. You're making a few grand, and then you might go, well, we'll spend £500 of that on getting the best name speaker we could get. Or you can even do things like a lot of trade shows do it, where you get the speaker and then you say he can have a free stand if he speaks, kind of thing. So you're saying, look, it's worth £1,000. We're not going to give you £1,000 because we haven't got it, but if you speak for us, it's mutually beneficial because you're speaking to a room of 250 people that will probably buy your product, and we're saying you're very credible because we trust you, kind of thing. So then they'll go, okay, he knows what he's talking about. That person must be good. So then you've kind of grown it from a meetup into and I'd say using tools like Meetup is really good because people are looking for stuff like that. Eventbrite, Meetup, because people, if you said, we're doing a a podcasting meetup or a young person's business meetup, or, you know, that kind of thing. People are looking for stuff to do, high quality events. People are stuck at home all the time. People are quite isolated. So if there's a high quality event, people just want to meet people. Ultimately, that's the main thing. You can overthink it. You can think, oh, it's not going to be good enough. It's not good enough speakers, but people just want to meet people, you know, and our thing, I'm really proud of it. We've got very good speakers. It's a great experience. But what people always say when they come back for an event is, oh, I met this person. I met this person. You know what I mean? It's never, oh, I heard this, or I watched this, or do you know what I mean? Because like the main thing is facilitating the chance for them to meet up. And that's the main thing. So yeah, I would say get a venue for free, or try and find a brand that supports it, that you can help. So if someone's got an office that wants to meet a load of young, ambitious people that could be interns or graduates, say, look, do you mind if we use your HQ on a Thursday night when no one's there to bring in a load of young people that want to hear a talk or whatever? Or have you got anyone that could talk to them even? Like, have you got a CMO or a head of recruitment that can give us some tips and stuff like that? So there's ways around it, but I'd say just get started, just do one, and you'll learn the lessons as it goes. Ask everyone for feedback. I thought it would be better if it had more time for us to talk, or if you encouraged us to speak to a stranger or things like that, because people will come with their one mate, not talk to anyone else, then go home and then be like, oh, it was, and you need to help me network, you know. so stuff like that.
You think that's a better strategy than going big on the first event?
Well, going big is obviously cost. So it's we have an investor. So if you can afford big events, big events can lose a lot of money, which is why you'll often see people pull out of doing a big event the last minute, because you could lose £500,000, £250,000, you know.
Pretty quickly, I imagine.
Yeah, just because the venue cost, right? So hiring something like our first one was in Tobacco Dock, which is, you know, it can be $500,000, you know, something like that, $1 million on the wrong
money,
different dates to hire it. The NEC depends how many halls you hire, but it's, you know, so going big is, if it's an option for you to do so. But I also think it's building an authentic community is the key. And if you've got an off the shelf community, then you can do something bigger, because if you listen to Daniel Priestley's stuff, he's really good with this. He's like, never launch anything, just test the appetite. So if you lads went, who wants to come to an event? Here's the subscribe link, like sign up your interest. And then if you said it's going to be roughly £99, and then you had 1,000 people sign up, then you know you might get 50% drop off on that or whatever, but you know you've got this wait list, and you know that, oh, therefore we could fill a room of this amount. So if we're going to spend $2,000 on a room hire, we know we could probably sell 20 grand's worth of tickets. Do you see what I mean? So
I do.
Well, it saves a lot of time.
Whereas if you start the other way around, you hire the room, you spent $2,000, and then you're looking for food, you spent $2,000, you've hired a speaker, he's $3,000, you're 10 grand down, and you don't even know if anyone's going to come yet.
Yeah. Well, it's that thing we can start now before we've even planned an event, and just you test the appetite, like you said.
Test the appetite and start small, but just make it a thing. I like that phrase. Is like,
just make it happen.
Just
start.
Make it good later.
Yeah.
Like, we want people together. Great. If you've got that craving to get a load of people together, you could do live podcasts, try and get the most credible people you know on a stage, do a live podcast, say, look, guys, do you want to come down? There's going to be loads of networking after and some free food. Brands will probably give you free food sometimes, you know, if you say, you know, stuff like that, and just say, oh, it's a networking event for local people or for young people, however you want to angle it. And then just do one. And if you get 5 people, who cares? Like, you're hanging out with 5 people you like, and it's fun.
Yeah.
If it's 30 people and you're really happy with the atmosphere, then you're winning. And then each of those people before the event, tell them to bring a +1. So you've got 60 people, you know, stuff like that. So I think it
builds.
Yeah.
We were talking with Tom. He said, worst comes to worst, it will be just me and Tom sat in a room with a one-on-one, basically, with a speaker. So it's like,
which is this anyway,
that's the
right?
worst case scenario. So it's not that bad, really.
No, worst case is you're having a good evening. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The follow-up question would be, okay, so if you don't get the big names in, like Stephen Bartlett, etc., how do you convince people to come when you've not got them big names? How did you do that yourself?
As in, so if you're just trying to do something, I think it's thinking about what does that person want. So that's where I go back to that networking. It's like, uh, it's on a simple level. I think people are quite lonely. So if it's like connect with like-minded people, that can be enough of a draw, right? So if you're just like, come and meet some like-minded people in person instead of on a screen, like that's a good draw. And then and then going a bit deeper is like, okay, you work in X industry, meet like-minded people in that industry, or meet other founders, meet other startup people, and so it's not just meeting people, it's meeting people who do what you do to share ideas, or meet an expert who can help you do what you do. So if it's like, you run a startup, we've got a marketing person that knows how to do marketing for startups that can help you. Come and watch him talk. And it doesn't have to be famous, but you're leading with his skill set. So that's what we do.
It's going to help what you're doing. Yeah.
Some of our speakers, people will never have heard of them. We make sure they're all very credible. That's our main thing, is like, but they're not necessarily, there's a good phrase that I like, which is like, you've got the marketer and the scientist. So the scientist might be in a dark room with 100 followers, but he knows everything and he's got a bookshelf full of 1 million books, but no one's going to buy a ticket to see him. But then you've got the marketer who could be just an influencer that's sharing someone else's knowledge, but everyone cares what they have to say. Do you see what I mean? So it's trying to find this seesaw of like the sweet spot in the middle of someone that people care about, care what they have to like, but you can do both. Like say you had the scientist interviewing the marketer, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing is the best method, because then you're not watering down the quality of the content. You've still got the best content, and the scientist, won't have the huge speaker fee. He's not going to ask for £500,000 to come down. There's a few like that, like Peter Attia, very good,
longevity,
guy, and he's got the he knows
podcast
his stuff and he's built the credibility. So he's like one of those actually both type people. But it's kind of, I think it's like having your moonshot list, like we were talking about, but Robbie Williams, but like having your list of like, these are our dream guests, and asking them, try your luck, because you never know. But then also having your list of like, this is our B list, this is our C list, this is our D list. And if you get 4 or 5 of your D list, like you're still winning, because that's a starting point. And you might have, and every show you kind of have, let's say our shows, you'll have a Stephen Bartlett as your main stage headliner, but then you'll have your B list, C list, D list that make up the show, and they're all still all brilliant, and people still want to hear from them. And sometimes those guys are fantastic because they spend hours creating their keynote, whereas the celebrity often just gets interviewed,
throws one in that they've already done,
or even just gets interviewed. They just do a hot seat into like a fireside chat, which is more general, but people want to hear because it's that person. Whereas if it's like, you found someone that's created a method of doing a sales funnel or something, they're going to come and spend ages explaining this method that they are, all these things that they found out, and it'll be a really interesting 45 minutes. So you know what I mean?
It's like the TED Talks. You find a few TED Talks with like random people. They're like professors in a uni, but the talk is so like perfectly crafted.
Yeah,
and it's basically what you've just said there. It's the same sort of principle.
It's their area of mastery, so they've absolutely obsessed over that thing.
They just love it, whatever this said thing is.
Exactly.
So the other part of your work is men's mental health. So can you tell us a bit about why you're interested in this, and also like how related fitness is to that? Because I imagine they're very connected.
So I think I call it men's mental fitness, which is, I define as the proactive pursuit of mental health. I think the problem we've got in the UK is a lot of men are sat at mediocrity, which is like, life's okay, life's not too bad, same people that you can kind of hear saying like, same old shit, like, and then if something goes wrong, they're quickly into sort of the negatives, the despair, the kind of darker feelings and emotions, but not enough people are thriving and creating and building and loving life. So what I believe in is there's some brilliant services out there that help men when they're getting to this desperate point. So suicide lines, or, talking
Yeah.
groups or things like that. But they don't appeal to a man who's in the middle, who's just, oh, I'm not suicidal, or why would I want to go and sit and talk about my feelings? Like, why would I? So to me, there's this huge opportunity to get men proactively pursuing mental fitness as you do your physical fitness, because fitness is great and it gives you the energy for life and it helps you live longer. But mental fitness can go deeper and help you understand your calling or your deeper purpose in life, or help you understand why you're keep sabotaging yourself or getting triggered easily or getting in your own way, or why you just feel a bit numb and bored and just those sort of feelings that a lot of people suffer with. So to me, it's this exciting pursuit, because I've been deep into this stuff for a couple of years now, and I've just found my life's drastically improved. It's hard work, as the gym is, but my life has improved so much as a result of getting stuck into this kind of work. But it feels like a bit of a secret society at the moment. Like, you get into it, you meet so many more men that are very growth minded and help each other out rather than try and like slag each other off or whatever, because you're in this higher growth, you're beyond mediocrity, you're in this growth, like high performance area, working towards high performance. And as a result, your circle expands. You learn to be a better partner rather than snapping at your girlfriend when she calls you out, or you're understanding where you're going wrong. Helps you become a better father, if you're a dad, and become a better leader. So there's lots of strengths to it, but not enough people are aware of what they could be doing or should be doing to do that, and it doesn't feel appealing enough. It doesn't feel cool to be doing it. So what I want to do, my mission is to try and make it mainstream, make it cool, make people think, okay, I should be doing that, and that's what I could be doing, and here's some other guys doing it. So that's kind of my personal mission with that stuff.
Well, mental fitness is a great way of making it cool. Like, just even that name. So mental health, it completely changes it, because mental fitness, it sounds more proactive. Like, you can actually do something. Like with fitness, you exercise 30 minutes every day. Maybe you could do something for your mind. It just sounds a bit more attainable somehow.
Exactly. And I think mental health is sort of like a label in terms of like, oh, I don't have mental health. Whereas if you look at fitness, you can't just leave fitness until you're hospitalized. You can't just go, oh, I don't need to do fitness. Like, all of us know we need to do something. You can't just sit there all day on your computer. Like, that's bad for you, right? You need sunlight, you need movement, you need to stretch, you need to eat well. So, but the same isn't as commonly known for mental fitness, because you just think, oh, I haven't got mental health problems, I don't necessarily need to do anything about it. And then it gets not too late, but you get into this side of the graph where you're like, oh, my life sucks, or why do I feel miserable all the time, or whatever. And then suddenly you start trying to do something about it. Whereas actually, if you can proactively get hold of it before the crisis point or before these low points, life becomes a lot more better. And you instead of like surviving, you're thriving or flourishing in life, and life feels great because your life's really good. Like, you can, what I mean? It's like you're in peak state, you're in peak performance mode, and things start happening as a result of that kind of thing. So yeah.
I have to say, I love that.
Yeah, no, it's great. What can someone do as part of a routine? What are a few things that you do to help your mental fitness?
It's a very good question. I'm defining this at the moment because I'm doing, in my spare time, I'm really putting a lot of effort into studying this stuff and building a really good network of the best in the game doing this. And as an industry, it feels very much in its infancy compared to fitness, because fitness, you can get sort of tens of thousands of gym owners in a room, personal trainers, loads of people are qualified in this stuff, but this feels disjointed and things happening in the suburbs and just tiny things happening. Like,
feels very new.
Very new, yeah.
Feels like we're at the very start of it all.
Yes,
and I feel like in 10 years' time it will be completely different. I mean, every aspect of it.
Exactly that, and the problem is growing quicker than the solution. So men's health is getting worse quite quickly. Suicide rates are terrible and things like that. And I think just that average bit, I'm focusing more here than there, which is like, how do we just get these guys that are just living an average, mediocre life to push upwards towards, it's like the equivalent of the fitness industry. The fitness industry's job isn't to help people that are needing medical urgent care, is to grab the fat guy on the couch and go, right, let's go, let's get you in shape. So that's kind of where I'm focusing this work. But I think the key things for men are if you look at it there's a nice diagram of like a pyramid, and the base level is energy. So without energy, you can't do anything. You haven't got the power to get out of bed, or so the base level is energy, which is fitness, which is looking after yourself. So getting your shop in order, getting your eating right and training and getting sunlight and those basic things. And then you've got the middle layer, which is community. So you can't really do anything on your own. Like, life is about, like, the first thing a therapist will ask if you're miserable is like, how are your friendships, or how is your relationship? And if your average guy in the UK only has one good friend now, which is quite, I think adult life is different to school life, uni life, because you naturally
100%.
are surrounded by friends, and you can meet friends easily. You go to a class and you've got friends, you can join the sports team or whatever, different societies. But I think modern day life for a man now is wake up, sit at your desk all day in your home,
make dinner,
dinner. Yeah, exactly. And men need to
go to bed.
Men need to be surrounded by men. It's becoming quite a scientific. There's a lot of research around it, but men, if you're just only interacting with your partner, like, men need that outlet of other men. Other men hold you to a higher standard, which is where the kind of fitness ties into it as well, because if you're training amongst other men, they'll push you in a healthy way, like, come on, one more rep, whatever, that kind of thing. But also then I think layering in the top layer, which is self-actualization, which is the top of the pyramid, beyond the community, is like being able to understand yourself well and dig into, like, tools like journaling is great, but like understanding your patterns, understanding what you want from your life, which is the most important question you can ask yourself. What do I actually want? And what am I doing that's based on what I've been told? Or, like, if, say, your dad was really determined that you needed to be an accountant, and you've become an accountant and you're going through all the grades, but just something about it just doesn't feel right. It's like, I really don't like this. And, like, sometimes you do have to just push through. It's not saying being weak and dropping out of things, but it's like, all of us in life were put on the earth with a unique gift, and it's like finding and exploring what that gift is. And if you don't know what it is, but you're getting inklings to try things, which is why I was saying to you guys with the event, just start one, and you might do one and go, actually, I really don't like events. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you're getting an inkling, just do micro tests and test things out quicker than don't plan it all day. Just go, right, let's put a date in and do it. Because exploring those callings is like what is important to men. And even if you do it as a hobby, but it's like having that outlet of, like, being able to do the thing that lights you up. And if you can do it, if you can get into it full time and go for it, like, that's even better. But I think that's the main thing for men, is kind of like realizing where you're stuck, where you're blocked. And then it's untangling negative patterns. So there's a lot of behaviors that you'll do that you don't realize you're doing. So it's like 95% of your decisions are subconscious. So it's like, if someone says, oh, can you pass me that? No, you know what I mean? It's like, there's loads of like reactions that you do. And it's like, the other thing around the community and that is like, men need to be doing more than just something for themselves. They need to be providing either for your community or for your partner or your family. So, like, you become miserable if you're selfish, basically, is the lesson.
Well, I can't remember who said it, but it's like, the one way to be miserable is just think about yourself all the time. The more you think about yourself, the more miserable you get.
This is it.
And others.
Yes, that's it. And most of that's where the problem is, like, choosing. It's like discipline is the thing, but practicing discipline would be one of the habits. But it's like where you're choosing something short-term pleasure over doing the thing for other people. That's where you think you're going to get happiness. Or if I sit on the Xbox all night, like, if say your partner said, oh, can you come and help me cook dinner or put the kid to bed, and you're like, nah, I deserve to just be on the Xbox tonight because I've had a long day. You think the Xbox will give you the pleasure, but actually it will make you feel miserable because you haven't provided for other people. And also worse, you should have because you've been asked to. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, it's not, the short-term pleasure is not going to make you happy. So a lot of it comes back to the sort of Stoic teachings of,
I was going to say about journaling, that's very stoic, and I feel a lot of people think journaling isn't cool now, but it actually goes back centuries, doesn't it? All the way back to Marcus Aurelius writing down every day his thoughts. And
yeah, and I think sometimes and this is an important thing, is like the word cool is really important here, because it sounds like, oh no, it shouldn't need to be cool, like it needs to just be useful, right? But I think it is. People do think, men will do things that are socially acceptable or cool. And I think that's where there needs to be this sort of gateway drug for men to be able to start trying this stuff, or famous people or people you respect and admire are doing it. And you're going, oh, maybe I should have a go at that because he's doing it or whatever. And like, there's a guy that I know, Phil Lerney, who he's very like matter of fact. And he just says it how it is. Like, journaling is just like listening to your thoughts. Meditation is just slowing down and chilling out, getting off your phone for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can simplify these terms that you can make out it's very spiritual and woo-woo, but actually no, it's just like, get off your phone for half an hour and sit and listen to yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, let yourself slow down. Don't just be reactive to notifications all the time. Like, have a little thought. How was today? Was it good? Was it bad? Did it get me anywhere closer to my goal? And then having that goal in mind, and you're going, well, eventually I want to get here, but what is the next task I could do that will get me there? And then did I do it or not? Why not? And then understanding the why not, which is generally like the patterns of self-sabotage. So it's like, you could have messaged that guy on LinkedIn to say, do you want to be on our podcast? But you didn't do it. Why? I got scared. Your mind wants you to stay safe and just do what you've always done. So it won't take the ambitious action. It will just do we'll just do what we did yesterday. Do you see what I mean?
Always done sort of thing.
Yeah. Even if what you've always done is rubbish, it will, even if people that come from like really horrible backgrounds or have had bad experiences, their brain will be wired to want more of that. Just what they know is it's safe. And it, do you see what I mean? So it's like, sometimes that you have to force that action, and which is where I think having support networks and brotherhood and a really positive group of guys that will go, mate, I see what you're doing there, or do this, and then sometimes it might be able to connect you with someone, and stuff like that. So that's where I think it's really important is training together, community, brotherhood, accountability, and then understanding of the self, understanding yourself. That's the kind of three things that I'd say every man needs, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's actually something I did yesterday that was very fascinating to me. Now, I've got a question for you. Do you use ChatGPT?
Yes.
Interesting. Now, there's a memory on ChatGPT where it basically knows everything that you've talked to it and every conversation you've had. And I asked it yesterday, I said, on all our previous chats, what do you think about me? And that's like personality-wise and like how I've interacted with you, etc. And what it came back with was actually very interesting. It said like a few different bits, and then it gave me examples of the chats I've given it and why it thinks that. And I think everyone uses ChatGPT a lot these days, and they're using it for more and more things. And I think that is one of the great things you can do with it. You can be like, what do you think? You asking that, what does it think?
I think there's a risk in that as well, though. Somehow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a risk of anything really, but it gives you a little bit different insight on you.
It does, yeah. It's interesting. It is interesting. My two cents on ChatGPT is I've got a really good expert on AI that I get to speak at our shows, and then I try and get as much knowledge from him on where it's going as I can, because it's going at such a pace. And he's like, it's all about how you brief it. So my mate and I agreed, like, sort of between ourselves, like, don't use it, don't dumb your own brain down, like do as much knowledge as you have, either ask it to prompt you, so make sure you do a big chunk of prep that goes into it. So you either use it at the start to say, give me some pointers on what I should prep, so then it gives you 10 bullet points to say, think I want to plan an event, what should I think about, give me just the pointers, not can you plan my whole event for me? Do you see what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, give me the pointers, or you just brain dump what you think already, but as much knowledge as you can. And then you go critique this as if you were a
Exactly.
director
Exactly
or
that.
investor or whatever, and then give me what I'm missing. So that's one thing, is like a lot of people are using it instead of their brain, and you're getting a lot of AI
Yeah.
slop. So like really crap content.
You can tell as well. You can tell almost straight away when you read something.
Yeah, the long
There's
dash and the rocket
yeah,
emoji.
there's little tellers as well, though, that the way it speaks, you can just kind of be like,
It's always that
doesn't.
thing where it goes, it's not that, it's this. That's one thing I've noticed. It's like it always gives a like opposite at the beginning of a sentence.
Yeah.
That's one
I'll
thing.
tell you what I do with it. So I'll give it that big paragraph, and that's what I'm thinking. I'll do that on a voice note or something. I'll send it to it, and then I'll be like, ask me questions. And it will ask me questions about whatever the thing is, and it will kind of challenge what I'm thinking and ask me questions around it. I'll answer them questions, and then we'll bring everything together. And then from there, we'll get a response. And what I've found out is that it actually takes a long time. Like, I feel like a lot of people think, okay, I want to do, let's say it's a post, or let's say it's to do with uni. They'll be like, I want to just do this. I'll give it the question, just generate it. That doesn't work. You've got to almost spend as much time, or maybe half the time you would actually writing the essay, on a really good prompt, and then almost work with the AI to get to the end. And that way you'll get something that's not slop. It's actually good. And it's really good because it's not just what you put on. It's almost like the teacher has marked it, or whoever said thing has marked it, and then come back to you. And then it's almost like draft 5 rather than draft 1. And that's the way I've been using it in the last sort of half a year to a year.
Someone told me something that alarmed me about AI, about ChatGPT specifically, which is it pulls most of its stuff off the first page of Google, which means you're basically asking Reddit.
Yeah, effectively, yeah.
Which you'd never do at uni, right?
No.
It's like the equivalent when I was at uni. It's like asking Wikipedia for the answers. Like you're never going to do that.
Wikipedia is trustworthy nowadays. Not really.
But... Is it? Yeah. It's
well, more than Reddit compared to Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit's awful. Reddit's just like conspiracy theories and stuff. So it's that was the thing on that. And then I think going back to what we were talking about before, it validates you. So it's a terrible therapist. AI is a terrible therapist. So if you said, am I right? Is my girlfriend wrong? It'll go, yeah, you're completely
right.
Yeah.
You've got this. You're always right.
Yeah.
The business idea is the best one you've ever had.
Yeah. And then 2 seconds later, when you say, actually, I think I'm wrong, it goes,
of course you're wrong. Yeah,
exactly.
So there is something you can do with that. Now, Tom, the other day, sorry to pull you out, Tom, but he put all of our podcasts into ChatGPT and he was like, what do you think? And it was this is the best thing ever. Yeah, do you remember you said it to me? It was like, this is the best thing ever. This is really good. This is what you're doing well. And if you go into settings, there's custom instructions and you can feed it custom instructions and you can basically tell it what you want. And one thing I've got in mind, I've got a massive paragraph in there, but it basically says, I'm not always right. You need to double check everything I say, and I want you to challenge me on more things than you agree with. And if you agree with it, I want you to make sure it's right and not fully understand. And my ChatGPT now, it's like ChatGPT on cocaine.
Really?
Because it doesn't tell me like this is. I'll send you what I use after this.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you like this is amazing. It actually be like this is good, but then this is that. And then if you want, I mean, you could even put the question thing in there as well, where it would be like, oh, think about this, that as well. And that way, it really gets rid of that glazing factor, which I really hate because I got to the point, ChatGPT was good, then this glazing thing got massive. And I was like, I don't want to use this.
No.
And then I saw it on, I think it was some random Instagram post saying, put something like this in. And it's changed it. It's completely changed my ChatGPT and it's made it a lot more useful and a lot more practical for me.
Nice. Yeah. And there's other ones. Perplexity is really good. Better than ChatGPT now, I think.
Yeah.
Claude
is amazing.
Yeah, Claude's really good. So it's like testing different ones. And I'd imagine someone like Google will just end up dominating this because they're a bit slow on the uptake. They were like ChatGPT sort of rocketed ahead, but they're already doing a lot in the background. So I can imagine some powerhouse like that will eventually be the AI, won't it?
Well, I think Apple, because they've been very quiet the whole time. And I think they're going to come out in about 2 years with just the most incredible thing.
And they know everything about us. They know about us more about us than our parents do, don't they? So
it's going to be something.
We're in trouble when that comes out,
I was reading about the AI boom and this financial guy. He was saying that not all these companies are going to come out top. It'll be one or two. And at the moment, with the AI boom, it looks like all the companies are going to win, but only a few are going to when he was talking specifically about stocks and what to invest in.
Yeah, so it's a bit like the dot-com bubble and all that, isn't it? Same thing repeated.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've seen the funding, but is it Nvidia? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Nvidia are almost loaning money to ChatGPT, OpenAI, to buy their chips, and like the whole
deals.
thing is like inside one bubble. Everyone's giving each other money, so we'll get to the point where that bubble will burst.
Yeah.
It might not. It might just go bigger and bigger, but it's very likely. I feel anyway.
Yeah.
For me.
Just to end the episode, I'd like to do a quick fire round with a few questions. So if you give us like a few lines, or just a short line, or even one word if you feel like it, that'd be amazing. So to start with, what are, say, 2 books that have really influenced your career and that you recommend?
I'd say 4,000 Weeks. Brilliant book, just about death.
Is that Oliver Berkman?
Yes.
Oliver Berkman? Yeah.
Yeah, about death, about how short life is, and that you need to get on with it, or you need to stop being such a productivity hacker and imagining life's going to be different the other side of the productivity hacks, and just live life now kind of thing. It's a brilliant book.
Yeah.
I also really like the book 10x is easier than 2x. It's one of those books you read and then you can't unsee it kind of thing.
Okay.
10x is easier than 2x. Okay, great. I'm going to check that one out. And another question, who's been a big career influence for you?
I'd say probably biggest influences happened at the same time, actually, in my career. I got our investor at PerformX, kind of, he believed in me to kind of lead and run and make a lot of decisions myself. And it was kind of that moment, like, I guess when the stabilizers fully come off and you're just going for it, and then you build a lot of self-belief. And you're like, I am the kind of person that could do this, because everyone is, right? Everyone can do. You've just got these ceilings that you put on yourself, or so it's like he was a great catalyst to that change, because I'd go to him and go, what do you think about this? And he'd go, what do you think? Get on with it. You know, that kind of thing. Like, I trust you to get on with it. It's your thing. Just do it, as opposed to like needing approval and sign off all the time, which is common in junior jobs, you know, but like a lot more people these days are being entrepreneurs and starting their own thing. So I think it's like, but you still have this ceiling that you hit that's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, or, you know, that kind of thing. So him, and then my coach, my mentor, Yassine, has been phenomenal at coaching. Is sort of like a mirror. So it's like showing you what you don't see. And when you're speaking, you know, about your limitations or your beliefs, a lot of things are stories that you're telling yourself. So he'll like call me out for the stories that I'm saying are, you know, for example, I'm not the kind of person that could do that. It's just a made up story. Like, how do you know if you've never done it? You know, no one that's ever done anything had done it before they didn't do it. Yeah. So it's that, it sounds stupid, but it's like,
it's true.
That one.
Yeah. And most things are just building up reps in something. Like, for example, last week I went on a retreat in Dubai, and my coach I was with said, I texted him before because I could tell he was going to do something horrible, and I was like, no adrenaline sports, nothing like that, I hate it, you know, I don't want to do anything like that. And then we turned up there and he goes, right, I've got a surprise. And I thought it was going to be a skydive, but
I was going to say, that's a very Dubai thing.
He just texted me going, what shoe size and something else, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Oh no.
But it was motocross in the desert, and I'm like not the kind of person that would ever do something like that.
Yeah.
I've never even ridden a moped really. I got on one in Thailand, fell off straight away, and was like, no, never again. So he made me drive motocross around the desert, and it's realizing that you can do things. It's just the reps, right? Someone that's good at motocross is because they've driven it loads, but also you can be bad at it and have a go, and then after the first session you're better at motocross. Like I went round the dunes a few times and loved it, and now I'm like, yeah, that was actually really cool. Yeah. So it's like it's okay to suck at something, and like that kind of thing. That's kind of but also leaning into your strengths is what he's shown me. Like, you're really good at something, so just do those things, because that's where you'll thrive and enjoy life and make money. But then also you can work on your strengths, and you can build courage by doing these things that you don't like, or that kind of thing. So yeah, both of those guys together both kind of came into my life at the same time around the PerformX growth phase, and they've both completely changed how I think.
And one final question, if you had to give one line of advice to your 20-year-old self, what would that be?
Okay, so this one for me was a realization I've had in recent years, especially since being coached and growing more self-awareness around myself. But it's the fact that everyone is human, no one is God. So it's stopping putting people on pedestals, as there's always going to be someone that knows the answers or knows more than me, and trusting myself earlier in my career, because I think it swings and roundabouts, because I spent my 20s and early 30s kind of trying to surround myself with brilliant bosses and mentors, and I think there's a lot of merit in that, and I think actually a lot of people do miss out on that these days because of the work from home culture, so you're not surrounded by a really good team all the time in person. But at the same time, it's that constant seeking of like advice, or is my idea right, or because sometimes your idea is your idea and someone else will tell you it's rubbish because they wouldn't have done it like that, or that kind of thing, or like you're then creating someone else's idea, whereas actually your idea could be the thing that changes the world. So it's kind of a self-belief, self-trust thing. And there's a really good book, which is a weird book, but a spiritual pal of mine told me to read it, which is called John Livingston Seagull, and it's about a seagull. And he is in a flock of birds, and he escapes the flock, and he's just doing weird stuff, like he's learning to like dive bomb and skydive, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Like he's showing, like he's not showing off, but he's like practicing like how to dive really quickly, and everyone's like, seagulls don't do that, mate, like what are you doing? And they kind of like shut him out of the group. And then he's just still there on his own, like and like everyone hates him, and he's like got real like, but then one other guy goes over and like learns how to do it with him. He's quite intrigued and like goes and learns to do the skydiving. And then the original guy dies eventually, and they're all suddenly mythologize him, like, oh, he's a god. He was like, how did he do it? I'd love to learn how he did it. And this guy's going, guys, I learned it all. I can show you. And he's like, nah, they're like, nah, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, he was a god. He had like, I heard he had like purple eyes, and he was like a different kind of creature than us. And they're like, no, like this guy's like, no, literally, like he just practiced. Do you know what I mean? So I think people use this god status as an excuse, and it's reframing and spotting yourself when you're seeing that. Like, if even in your world, it would be like, oh, I couldn't be like Chris Williamson because he was on Love Island, or he was this, he was that, he must have been rich, he must have, do you know what I mean? Whereas actually all he does is he researches a lot, he puts a lot of care into his work, he really studies the guest, and then he's consistent. He's on episode 1000 and something. Do you know what I mean? So he's not got something any of us haven't, other than the courage to just be seen failing and just keep going. Whereas people use this god status as, one, a way not to be able to do it, or two, in my world, it's in my past, it's like I need someone to say it's good, or I need to be around someone that's doing it. I'd rather work for Chris than do my own, or that kind of thing. Whereas that was a really important reframe, and maybe not at 21, but I think it's like, even if you're seeing these people as knowledge, as insight and ways to be doing your thing better, so when you are learning, you're kind of going, oh, it's seeing information as a stream that flows, rather than as like a master class that you need to learn it all. It's like taking the bits that resonate and leaving the bits that don't, kind of thing. So if you're at a job and you're going, okay, you don't need to copy your boss's exact method, but you need to go, okay, I like that bit, that's really useful, I like that bit out of that podcast, but you're creating your own lane, kind of thing. You're trusting yourself. So that's probably my lesson to my 21-year-old.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
We appreciate it, Tom.
Absolute pleasure, lads. Really enjoyed it, and keep doing what you're doing. I think it's a great initiative. Big believer in this kind of stuff, like trying to upskill and share good messages with the next generation. So keep me posted. Any events you plan as well, I'll be there, and
we will do.
I can help. I can help out with planning and stuff. But good luck, lads.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.